Okay, so I'm very happy to say that I'm joined by Frank Turner here behind the scenes at Leeds O2 Academy. Are you alright, Frank?
I'm very well, happy to be back in Leeds again.
It's a couple of years since you've been at Leeds. What can we expect from your set tonight?
I've got there's some new stuff in the set because I've been working on a new record, but then at the same time, I always want to play. I always want to play kind of like I'm wary of saying the word the hits, but do you know what I mean? Like the songs people want to hear. But also, I've got enough kind of material now that every night it's kind of fun to have a rummage in the back catalogue and see if I can dig up something that I wasn't expecting, and that people weren't expecting. So there'll be a wide range of stuff.
How do the Leeds crowd normally treat you?
Great, fantastic. I mean, crowds in the north are generally better than they are in the south anyway, and I say that as a southerner, I'm always up here for the festival as well, which is always fantastic, so yeah.
What can we expect from the new record, which is set for release early next year?
It's kind of it's a bit more kind of country than stuff I've done before. At least I think it is. I don't know. I feel like I'm the wrong person to ask the question. And it's kind of a breakup record as well, without going too far into the details on that. But yeah, it's kind of raw, I guess is probably the best way of saying it.
And do you think it'll be difficult to kind of better England Keep My Bones? Because you've said before that the last one was your best. Yeah, I certainly felt like that at the time. I mean, and still do. It's too early for me to say whether I personally think this new one is better. I feel like it's going to be, but it's not quite finished yet. And then, of course, I feel like I'm the wrong person to answer the question in a way. It's for other people to judge. But I'm certainly very excited about the new record. And will there be any more songs about your grandma on there?
Not on this one, no. I feel like I should probably write a song about my other grandma in order to balance the equation,
Are you going to be putting out any singles soon, or?
We're actually. The thing is, I had too many songs for the record, so this isn't definite yet. But there's discussion of maybe doing an EP, kind of like the Rock and Roll EP or the Campfire EP or whatever, before the record comes out in like January, February, sort of thing. So we'll see. And
playing Wembley, was that kind of a realisation of how far you've come and sort that you've made?
Yeah, it was it was a culmination, certainly. I felt like everybody in that room had seen me play at a small venue, do you know what I mean? And it was like it was like, instead of being one big venue, it just felt like loads and loads of pack horses, do you know what I mean? Or like Fentons or whatever, all in one place. But it was a very satisfying day for me, that one, do you know what I mean? It felt like a lot of things came together.
Having released more records now than your old band Million Dead, and do you feel more comfortable as a solo artist now?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't really think about Million Dead particularly often anymore. That's not to say that I'm disowning anything I did with that, or indeed that I've got a problem with people who say that they prefer what I did with Million Dead. That's fine. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Each to their own. But for me personally, it's definitely kind of in the past now. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's not a part of my day to day at all.
Does it give you more freedom for creativity than being a solo artist?
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of it's sort of a double-edged sword. Do you know what I mean? Because in some ways it's like you do have more freedom. Sometimes it can get a bit kind of weird because I write on my own. Do you know what I mean? Rather than collectively, and it feels like there's no one to bounce ideas off. But on balance, this is what I want to do. I want to be a solo artist. So hence me being one.
Yeah. Having released I Still Believe last year for Record Store Day. Mm-hmm. Are you going to be doing something for this year's Record Store Day?
Yeah, I actually have some pretty wild plans for this year's Record Store Day, but I can't really talk about them yet. Yeah. But it's definitely kind of as an event, as an idea, it's something I'm fully support and we'll get behind. If the plans that I have come off, it's going to be crazy, but we'll see.
And why did you choose the B-side as Queen's Somebody to Love?
Well, it was something that me and the Sleeping Souls, my band, had been doing live for a little while, and we started doing that kind of. Matt, my keys player, started playing the piano intro in rehearsals as kind of as a joke, and then we all joined in, and then went, actually, this is pretty fucking cool, And then the thing is, I wanted to record it and I wanted to release it, but I didn't want it to like be on an album. Do you know what I mean? Or like, I didn't want to make a particularly big deal about its release. You don't want to turn into like one of those bands whose big hit is a kind of cover. Do you know what I mean? So it seemed like the right place and time to do it was to put it on as a B-side for that.
Do you have a vinyl collection of your own then, and do you still feel vinyls are very important?
I think vinyl's great. I don't have masses of vinyl myself simply because I live out of a suitcase, and if I got all the music that I get on vinyl, then I just couldn't do it. Do you know what I mean? I couldn't carry it around the place. I have a bunch in the storage unit somewhere, but I don't see them very often. Yeah. But I think vinyl's cool as a way of kind of like making recorded music kind of physical. Do you know what I mean? That's kind of it's nice.
Is there anyone you can see yourself working with in the future?
I mean, there's lots of people I can imagine working with, when you're sort of daydreaming kind of way. Yes, I'd love to work with Robbie Robertson or whatever, or Adam Duritz or Tim Armstrong, or what? Do you know what I mean? I come up with an endless list. I mean, having said that, one of my favourite things to do is play music with my friends. Me and Jim Lockie, who's on this tour, did some stuff the other day, and me and Tim Barry have sung together before. So there's all of that kind of thing as well.
All your lyrics come from an incredibly honest place, I think it's fair to say. Does this lead to kind of humour in your writing on the other side, so it makes kind of a balance? Yeah,
I hope so. I mean, I like songs that have a degree of humour to them. I think that's like songs, or let's maybe say albums that don't have any humour to them are like people who don't have any humour to them. It's just kind of boring, do you know what I mean? And if you look at a songwriter like Loudon Wainwright, I feel that when he sings like really personal, visceral, raw stuff, it's more so because the previous song, or maybe even earlier in the same song, he was kind of like joking around, and he's a funny guy, and the contrast kind of brings out the thing you're trying to say about it.
In your song Back in the Day, you say punk rock saved your life. How did it, and what did it save you from?
Well, the very end of the same song, it also says it probably didn't even save my life, because it's a melodramatic statement, of course. I don't know, punk rock was a massive thing to me when I was a kid. It still is, but it just I got a scholarship to a boarding school, and I really didn't fit in there at all, and I felt very awkward there socially, and that was the exact moment when I kind of stumbled across punk as an idea and as a sound, and there's something about that kind of rage and frustration and like rejection of like the mainstream or whatever you want to call it that really, really spoke to me in that situation. So it saved me from being a more depressing time in my teenage years, I guess, but and it's still very important to me.
And why do you think punk rock might be bigger in America?
That's an interesting question. I'm not entirely sure. I mean, certainly the American punk scene now is much, much bigger than anything there is over here, and it's much more kind of familial, like everybody knows everybody, and it's kind of more kind of supportive and all that kind of thing. I'm not really sure what that is, to be honest. I think it's possibly something to do with the fact that in order to make any kind of impact in the US, you have to tour like a ton, like way more than you do over here. And if you're the kind of band who can sustain that and can survive that, then you're probably going to last for longer.
What was it like playing 24 gigs in 24 hours?
It was a pain in the arse, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm glad I did it. It made for a really cool video and everything. I'm definitely not going to ever do that again. No fun.
Your website lets you connect with your fans with the blog and your email address, which is on there as well. Is it important to try and break down the barriers between artists and fans? Yeah, I mean, I was never really a fan at any point of my life of that kind of sort of. It reminds me of kind of like the French Revolution, Marie Antoinette and the mob sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? And these bands who kind of never interact with the people who entirely facilitate their existence by giving a shit, And so, again, on some levels, it's just good fucking manners. Do you know what I mean? It's like if I get to do what I do because people buy tickets, they buy t-shirts, and they buy music or whatever, and they come out to shows and all that kind of thing. And to then turn around to those same people and go, I'm not going to talk to you, I'm not going to hang out with you, just be kind of a dick move. Do you know what I mean? And it makes me uncomfortable, that idea. But yeah, I mean, and then sort of ideologically as well. Do you know what I mean? For me, art is about empathy, and if people in a band and people in bands have nothing in common with each other, then I don't feel like they have anything to say to each other either, and the whole thing becomes a waste of time. Okay. Well, thanks very much for talking to us, Frank. It's my pleasure. You have a brilliant gig tonight. Thank you.